you can do to build your brand webinar. I am Coach B. Michelle. So thank you guys for joining in on my first live webinar. So if you don't mind, put your where you're from and put your name in the chat. Just so I can go back and send you guys some thanks later after the webinar. So this webinar is going to be full of tidbits and strategies and tools and just gems that you can use to build your brand. So you definitely want to make sure that you have some pencil, pen, paper, or you can take notes on your phone. But definitely want to have something that you can write on because it's going to be a lot of information. So again, I am Coach B. Michelle, the brand coach, and I thank you guys for joining in on this live webinar. So we're going to jump right in and get started. So just want to give a little bit of background about myself. I am Coach B. Michelle, the brand coach. I actually graduated, I actually studied social work when I was in college. So I have a BSW and MSW in social work, which that turned into actually, I was like, hey, I think I want to do something different after doing all that. I ended up in education. So I was a teacher for 16 years in the US and overseas as well. I'm also the founder of the Dream Big Scholarship Fund, which provides scholarships to students here in the San Antonio area. And my prize of being the CEO of the B. Michelle Branding Agency, what I do all day, every day, helping small businesses develop their brand. So, just a little bit of information about what we do. And also, just before I go into that, if you have questions, feel free to, you can put them in the chat and we'll definitely go back and answer them. I'll answer them towards the end. So, there'll be a time for questions as well. So, what we do here at the B. Michelle Branding Agency, so we help small business owners and solopreneurs build the foundation of their brand by doing events. So we plan brand related events for them, so like launch parties, grand openings, tastings, things of that nature. We also build out their custom design for their brand, so helping them choose their brand colors, creating marketing material like business cards, flyers, brochures, websites, anything you need to market and promote your business. And then lastly, is we provide coaching and consulting services on an array of topics that have to do with business and branding. And so you can also, in the meantime, I'll have all my social media and everything will be at the end. So you can definitely follow me on all platforms. So before we jump into it, I actually have been, this is something I've been thinking about doing for a while. So every year I try to start the year off, or towards the end to the beginning of the year, I always introduce these 6 things that a person can do, that an entrepreneur can do to really help them build their brand. And so as we go through the 6 items and 6 strategies, I want you to know like this is something that you don't have to implement them all at one time because it can definitely get overwhelming. You really want to just kind of figure out a starting point and then start there. And if some of these if you're doing some of these already, then obviously you can either tweak them up or pick some that you're not doing in your business. And each of these items I've definitely used as strategies working with my clients when building their brand, especially this first one, um, updating your mission and vision statement on your website. So we're going to kind of just jump right into it. So this is really super important because every business, as a business owner, a lot of times we kind of just we probably been doing it as a hobby, and then we decide to make it um, a full business and go full time with it, or really give it some energy from it being a side hustle. And a lot of times we don't really think about how impactful a mission and a vision statement can really be. But this is really where this is the beginning of your brand foundation. This is where you really take time to figure out who you are as a business and an entrepreneur. So Although this says update your mission and vision statement, it can also mean create it as well. So if you already have one, if you've been in business 4 or 5 years and maybe you haven't done anything with your mission or vision statement since you started the business, then always at the beginning of the year or towards the end of the year, and really you can honestly update it at any time, to be honest. Um, but you want to make sure that your mission and your vision statement are short, concise statements about your organization. So my go-to or my model with this is that your mission and your vision statement should fit on the front of a t-shirt. That's how short it really should be. Really no more than 2 cents. Like the main part of it should be no more than 2 sentences. Um, it can be a paragraph, but the crux of it and the most important part of it definitely doesn't need to be more than 2 sentences. The whole reason why you create a mission and a vision statement is to create purpose and explain to people why you exist. Why is your business? Why are you in business? It also gives your customers some insight into your brand. And when people can rally around um, a mission or a vision, if you think about it from everything that we went through from 2020, people really rally around movements. And when they believe in something, they share and find a commonality and something, that's when they support it the most. So it's important that you have your mission and your vision statement, and you have clarity about where you want to go. And here's another thing, this is an ever changing document. So it's not you write it one day and it has to stay that way forever. Um, you write it, you can go back to it, you can make changes to it. Actually, even during the pandemic, I actually updated the branding agency. I updated our mission and vision statement during the pandemic because we all had plenty of time and nowhere to go. So I took some time to really look at where I wanted my agency to go and where I wanted my business to be, to make sure we were still on in line and on the right path of where we when I originally wrote it. And as I read it, I realized that I wanted to go a different direction, not far different, but just make some adjustments to it. So make it when you decide to write it, just make sure that you keep it concise and make sure that it's specific to your audience and to what you do. So just give you a couple examples. So here's the mission statement for Google, which is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. I think they've done a good job of that. Everybody Googles everything. This is the mission statement for LinkedIn: to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. I think LinkedIn has done a good job of doing that as well with their mission statement. So you see that it doesn't have to be long. A quick blurb, no more than really 2 sentences, but you want to just make sure you're telling who you serve and why. Now, from a vision statement, this is more so where you see yourself down the line. So where do you see yourself as a solopreneur, as a business owner, entrepreneur? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And again, this is something that could totally change because, as we can see, go back to the pandemic. A lot of that was a change for a lot of people. So a lot of people have to go back and figure out, okay, where are we now? What do we need to pivot to? Where do I see myself now? Some people went from a 9 to 5 job to being a business owner, and some back from a business owner to back to a 9 to 5 job. So remember, your vision statement is where you plan to be down the line. So Google, their vision statement is to provide access to the world's information in one click. So they're actually still in line with their vision statement as well. And LinkedIn, to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce, which everybody's on LinkedIn around the country. So both of these companies are definitely sticking true to their vision statement. And again, your vision statement should just be just as short as your mission statement. It doesn't have to be anything long, especially if this is your first one. So this is your first time really sitting down writing one. It doesn't have to be, 4 or 5 sentences, like a whole paragraph. Just want to keep it short and sweet. Now, this is one of my favorite things to talk about. And those of you that are watching the webinar that happen to follow me on social media, I talk a lot about websites. And actually, I just put up a post. I actually went to somebody's Facebook page to refer them out to another client, and there was hardly information on their Facebook page, and they definitely didn't have a link to a website on there. So I will say this: although this is updating your website, if you don't have one, you really should get one. And here's the thing: you can even just get a landing page. It doesn't have to be a robust website, but you need to be on the web, because just like we just talked about Google, people Google everything. So you want to show up when people are looking for your product or your service. So having a website does that. Although sometimes your social media might show up depending, but that's if they actually know the name of your business and they go and type in your actual name. Then some of your social media profiles will show up. But when they're just Googling, looking for a barber, looking for a particular, like a restaurant, Italian food, or whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you show up. And the only way to show up is by having an online presence, which means having a website. And so one of the reasons why you should have a website, because a website is really where the sale happens. I know, like right now, everything is, we're on Cash App, Happy Society, and PayPal, and all of those apps are really good. But when people go to really purchase your product or service, it really should happen on your website. The decision should be made by going to look at your website. For me, when people contact us, even if somebody contacts me on Messenger or Facebook or Instagram, I automatically send them a link to my website for them to book a 20-minute discovery call or to book a consultation instantly. I try to have very little conversation in my inbox or in my DMs. I send them straight to my website. So that way, the minute that they get there, that's my opportunity to show my clients and give them a little insight to my brand, and for them to see what I do, see how I do it. Again, even with the mission and business statement, it should be actually on your website. So that's another opportunity for you to really, because people resonate. You want to give your clients an opportunity to really resonate with your brand and know what you believe in and what you stand for. So this is that chance for them to be able to do that. Now, so your website it can be simple, just needs to be mobile friendly and very engaging. You want to use high resolution pictures, nice photos, especially if you sell products. You want your products to be nice for people to be able to look at them and know that you are a professional business. So that's one of the things that's super important. So that makes your site engaging, as well as making sure that it's mobile friendly. So one of the things that also is important with your website is making sure that you update it. So can we go back to the other slide really quick? So one of the things that happens a lot is that people will move to a new office or get new numbers, and they forget to update their website. So making sure, number one, having a website and that you keep your website updated with content, with stuff that's happening in your business, stuff that your clients, information that your clients really need to know as well. So making sure that you have the proper phone number if you're a restaurant and you have your menu, updating your pricing. Because one thing you don't want to happen, and remember, the whole branding and developing a brand and having brand loyal clients is about the experience. So if I go to your website and it says one price on the website, and then maybe it's a situation where I have to talk to you and we talk and you say the price is something different. Well, your website says one thing. So you really should technically honor what your website says if there's a price on there. So this is why it's very important when you make changes in your business. Don't forget to go and update your website with information Especially like I said, if you have your mission and vision statement on there, you can update it, update all your contact information, because there's nothing worse than a person going to your website looking to do business with you, and either they can't find what they're looking for, or the information is incomplete. And also, one of the things that you can also add to your website is videos, blogs, merchandise. If you don't have a product line or you're not selling anything, digital products, that's something that you can add to your website also for your clients. So you can send out emails, texts, or let them know, hey, you can go to my website, download or check out the blog or check out our latest video. You want to send those things to your clients, however you communicate with them. And mostly, I'm pretty sure it's probably email or through text messaging. So adding those features to your website also gives your potential clients and your current clients a chance to really engage with your business just on a different level. So speaking of engaging with your clients, so one of the things that I have really been trying to definitely make a conscious effort of, even in my own business, is definitely keeping my clients engaged in what we're doing and updating them. And now that like Reels, I didn't put this on here, but as I think about it, now that like Reels and stories are really popular, that's one of a great way to let your clients know what's happening in your business. So if your clients follow you on social media, or either you send it out to them, making quick little videos and putting them in your Reels and putting them in your stories, just so your clients kind of know and have an idea, what's going on with your brand. And especially if you're launching a new product or you're launching a new service. But these things right here that I'm going to list on here, like super simple things that you can do that will definitely amp up your client's experience. Because remember, we're talking about building out your brand, and the brand is really about the experience that your clients have. Branding is 80% about how your clients really feel about you. But in order for you to get the feeling that you want from them, you have to create that. And so one of the ways that you can definitely create it is, and this one also depends on the number of clients that you have. If you have staff, even if it's just you, you can kind of monitor, you can put yourself on a schedule, is phone calls. I know people, I had to put up, was talking to someone and we had put a post up, like, do people really talk on the phone anymore? Honestly, picking a couple clients to just call and like just check on them, see how they're doing. And these can be quick little phone calls. I know sometimes you get on the phone and sometimes it'd be hard to get off, depending on what you start talking about. But being able to call or either shooting a text, like, and just literally just checking on them, seeing how things are going, not necessarily in sales mode or offering anything. If anything, offering your time, or either text or call to give them something like a coupon or a discount code or something if you're gonna give something. But a simple phone call, and you can put this on a schedule. So like, hey, every Monday or every Tuesday and Thursday, we're gonna, at least call or text 5 or 6 clients, depending on how large your client, list is, and if you actually have an assistant, or if it's just you. So if it's just you, you want to be like, okay, hey, I can't do all of this, but I can do this many. And maybe it's just a couple a day, a couple quick, hey, this is so-and-so, just wanted to check and see how you were doing, especially if it's a client that you haven't seen in a while. Another thing is sending out an email, like I said, with coupons or gift cards, just randomly. Send out, a discount code in the email. And this is, you can offer, blast this out to all of your clients. You can send it to specific clients, or if you want to do something special for a certain group of clients, to where you send them this particular email. But also, one of these, sending clients cards and stuff on their birthday. Now, I know like most people don't necessarily have a CRM system, but having a CRM system will really help you. And that's a customer relation management system. And that's where all of your clients are in one database. So for me at first, I use this CRM system called Sending Blue. It's $25 a month. But I also have QuickBooks. And so I really was using QuickBooks as my CRM for the longest. Because pretty much when I send out an invoice, all of my clients' information is already right there. But a real CRM system that's built for like automation, for sending out the emails, for sending Blue actually even lets you send out text messages. I think it was like $25. Right, it was $5 for every 100 text messages, something of that nature. But definitely check it out. It's called Sending Blue, SENDIN Blue.com. And then you can kind of Google it and it should pop up. But Sending Blue is a good, far as a good low budget system that you can start using if you don't have anything in place. But sending birthday cards, anniversary cards, like knowing things about your clients is really important. And here's how you gather this information. So how I gather it is that whenever we get a new client, and I consider a client anybody that pays an invoice. So typically your first point of entry to me could be a 20-minute discovery call. Now, although we have your phone number and email, but I don't put you in client mode until we've actually provided a service for you. So at that point, then we send out a client info form on when we send out the invoice as well. So on our client info form, we ask for the basics: your first name, last name, your birthday, business, anniversary. And so that's another thing. If you're a B2B type of company, you want to know when your client started their business, when's their anniversary. Send them, again, call them, wish them happy anniversary on their business, send a text, send a card. There's so many things that you can keep your clients engaged and top of mind with your brand. And those things go a long way. Whenever, especially, I will say this, during this last year, quite a few of my clients got COVID. So I'd say for maybe about at least about 3 or 4 months, because one of my clients, and he does our yard, he has a lawn service. He had COVID really bad. So I pretty much checked on him the whole way through. And that was about a good 2 months before he actually got back up and going again. Another one of my clients, she sells paparazzi. She had COVID. So I made sure that I called her, sent her text messages, checked on her throughout the process. So when you actually know things about your clients, it's a lot easier. And especially and sometimes you'll find out these things just through regular communication. So it's really important that you have this client info sheet so you can at least get basic information. Their business anniversary, if they're married, their wedding anniversary, birthdays. So that way you have information that you can use to keep your clients engaged with the brand. One of the other things is highlighting your clients on your platforms. For me, being in a B2B situation, this works out well. But you can always give your clients shout out and show love to them, whether it's B2B or B2C. So I think that goes a long way as well, because everybody likes to feel special and feel important. And right now doing Black History Month, so I picked 12 of my clients, and I have my assistant make like a flyer just saying Happy Black History Month, put their logo on it, and it's on all 3 of my pages. So, and then we've shared it out in some groups as well. And so up until I think we've done 4 or 5 so far. So it's like 3 a week. And so everybody has been really appreciative of me highlighting their business. So at the end of the day, when I send out this next email or, need to work with them, I know, number one, that it's about positioning. And so one of the things you want to do, this helps you really position yourself in your space, in your industry, and with your clients. So making sure that you're doing things to just show your clients some appreciation, but just keep them constantly involved in your brand. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I think having a niche or creating your niche is one of the best things you really, really, really can do for your brand. Um, Number one, it just helps you differentiate yourself from the sea of other people. And especially if you are in that area where like life insurance, financial service, um, anything that's like overly saturated, like really creating a niche. Like I always tell like my realtor clients, because especially here in San Antonio, like there's 20,000 licensed realtors. So, and although all of them are not working, but a good portion of them are, you always still want to figure out your lane and figure out what your is going to be and how you're going to navigate this space. So the sooner and quicker that you figure out how you're gonna do that, number one, you're able to differentiate yourself and set yourself apart. You're able to narrow your audience down because especially when it comes to marketing, you don't want to spend money marketing to the wrong crowd of people. This helps you market to a specific group of people when you have a niche. Like for us, we only work with number one, small business owners from the startup phase to about about 4 to 5 years in business. Typically, by the time you get to that fourth or fifth year, you're either ready for a rebrand or if you're still struggling, you definitely about to quit. So you want to try to get some help before you actually, give up on it. So our niche is number one in that arena. So we don't do like middle-sized to large companies, strictly solopreneurs and small business owners. One of the other things that this really just helps you create your own lane. And you can create your own lane by the service that you offer and by the product that you offer. So depending on, and it could be one or the other, and it could be both. But it also could be, your niche could also be in how you offer it. So I would say one good example of this is like 24-hour fitness. Okay. They're open 24 hours a day. So before all the other gyms kind of became the same way, they were one of the only gyms that was open 24 hours a day. So that's set them apart from the other gyms. But now that they got to find other ways to kind of differentiate themselves. So you can create your own lane through the product that you offer, the service that you offer, or how you actually offer that. But one of the things as you're looking to create a niche and trying to figure out, market research is your friend. So I'm just going to, throw that in there. It's definitely taking time to do your research and see what's happening in that market. And especially if it's where you'll probably only work with people possibly in your city or even in your state. You really want to take time to do your research and check and see where are there voids at? Where is somewhere that you can fill in a gap? Because you also have to remember that starting a business and owning a business is about providing solutions. And you're providing solutions to problems. So you have to figure out where there's a problem, where even though there are solutions out there, how can you bring something different, which goes into adding value, the last bullet point. How can you add value to this arena? How can you add value to the service, the product, and do something different and be able to create a lane for yourself? So that's really finding your niche, or even creating your own niche, is very valuable. And it helps you kind of definitely be in the lane of your own until somebody, you might not stay there by yourself long, but you can enjoy the time that you are there and figure out what else is happening in your industry, so you always are staying up on whatever newcomers or whatever current trends are happening, because that's really important as well also. So creating a niche definitely helps you set the tone for your brand as well. So when you're the only person that do something, the way you do it or how you do it, that also helps you stand out. Now, number this lovely strategy right here, as far as podcasting and blogs. Now, right now in 2022, it seems like everybody has a podcast. So, but if podcasting is not your thing, blogs are just as effective as podcasts once you build out a community around whatever topic it is that you want to discuss. So if podcasting is not your thing and you want to do either a text blog or a video blog, because there's so many platforms now out there to where basically you can use TikTok, you can use Facebook, you use so many platforms from the video standpoint as well. But blogs pretty much help your business compete. So one of the things about definitely a text blog, but also even with video blogs. So when you type out your caption, when people go to look on Google for certain things, your blog and your podcast will pop up in the Google in the search as well. So you're providing information and text blogs. That's why Google reads text, not necessarily pictures. So that's why even if you put a picture up, it's always important to put like a caption and the whole hashtag. So that way it's searchable. But blogs definitely help you stand out amongst your competition, because if you have a blog and you have several entries and you show how you have this whole community and this following, and your competitor doesn't, this kind of gives you the edge up. It makes you look like more of an expert in this industry than it does them. So again, you can do a text or video on the blog. Podcasting, there's so many platforms out there for podcasts, but the thing about it, definitely with podcasting, is the marketing. So you really would have to go the distance with marketing, because now the industry is just flooded with so many different podcasts, and some people are actually videoing their podcast and putting it on YouTube. So you got the audio version and the video version. So it's a lot. But either one that you decide to do definitely helps establish you as an industry leader. So pick a topic or find something that you feel like your target audience or your community may be struggling with, and see where you can, create a blog or create a podcast where you can talk about these things and provide some solutions. Again, it always goes back to how you can help. What solutions do you offer that can help with this problem? And sometimes just talking about it could be a solution. But when you orchestrate that and you build this community and have this platform, it opens up for people to then connect with you. And now that helps elevate your brand again. So one of the things like that also, as far as building a community, is super important. This is how, once the community is built, then you have your email list, you have text messages, you have ways of communicating with them, you have your Facebook groups. All these people should be mass somewhere to where you can then communicate with them as well, because this is where you'll really be able to introduce your products and your service by building this community through the blog and through the podcast, because people are definitely faithful listeners. If you're talking about something they want to hear, one of the podcasts that I really love is I Am Athlete and Pivot. I tend to watch those in Social Proof, the Social Proof podcast. He has some great entrepreneur guests on there. And I always learn something, even on I Am Athlete. I always learn something from the guests that they have on there. So I typically watch these podcasts or listen to them for the purpose of figuring out what I'm going to learn new across the board. Sometimes it's not necessarily about business, learning something new in business. It could just be just regular personal life as well. So building that community, when you start a creative blog or a podcast, it helps you build that. And in that way, you can then stay in touch with them in whatever platform you choose to build it up with. And our last one, this one is really tricky, but it's effective. This is definitely an effective thing that you can do, and this is really helps you really build brand awareness. So, the online ads. Sometimes you may want to do an ad for the just the sheer purpose of building brand awareness, and that is just letting people get used to seeing your brand, get used to seeing you, get used to seeing your logo. Um, and it could be where you just do an ad, you boost or create an ad for a post that you did, even if you're not necessarily offering anything, just the exposure. So sometimes you have to start there with you just doing the ad just to get the brand awareness. But when you do online ads, it's a long term strategy. This is definitely not you're gonna blow up in a week, in a month. Um, you have to, and that's why I say, of all the strategies, this is the one that like you really want to take your time and implement in your business and really make a plan to implement, because this is a long game with the ads. Typically, if you talk to most people that do ads, most social media marketers that do ads, they'll tell you at least give it at least 3 months. You have to be willing to invest at least bare minimum 3 months. And sometimes it's like 5 to 6 before you get the end result, because the ads, they go through a whole little process of testing it, testing the audience, making sure that you got the right graphics and you got the right wording. It is a whole process. So just know when you decide to implement this strategy that it's it's a long-term strategy. It's definitely not for you to blow up or to do $100,000 in sales the one time you put the ad up. The thing about it, I like about doing online ads is that number one, you're in control of how the advertisement goes. You get to turn the ad on and turn it off. I don't suggest turn it on and turn it off, but if you feel like you need to make adjustments, you can make adjustments. With TV commercials, with other things, it's hard to make adjustments with that. This is easy as you can make adjustments and control your advertising. You can control the budget. If you want to do $10 a day or $100 a day, you can go in and figure out where you want to be. And if this amount of money didn't work, you try another amount next time or try it. So there's so much flexibility in online ads. But the one thing that it does, it definitely helps you build brand awareness and helps people, number one, get to know you, get to know about your business. Because 9 times out of 10, they click on the link, they go to your Facebook page, or click on the link to go to your website, or whatever it may be. They're taking the opportunity to get to know you and some insight about who you are. The other thing is that it helps you really advertise to the right person, so you can really target the right person out the gate. Sometimes if you think about billboards, 5 million people drive on the highway every day. And when you put up a billboard, you don't know how many people going to actually really look at that billboard. So you can spend $100, $200, $300, however much money on the billboard, and hoping and praying that maybe 2 or 3 people look at it. And out of those 2 or 3 people, hopefully one of the people really remember whatever you said on the billboard to contact you. So billboards are like one of those things where it's a shot in the dark, but maybe it's just up because if it's up on a major route to work, okay, then people will see it every day. So it does build the brand awareness, but at the end of the day, you also want some ROI. So at least with online ads, you can make sure that you're speaking to the right audience in order to get the ROI that you want. And although it is still it's a long-term strategy, there's so many different things that you can put in place to make sure that you're successful with the ads, and that your brand, number one, your brand awareness is increasing. You're able to engage people, comment on the ads. You should comment back. That's one of the things, I'm just throwing that in. I didn't put on the slide, but I think one of the things that helps with the brand, I notice a lot of people, as I creep through the comments on some posts, sometimes I think depending on how the comment is written, you can tell if it's actually a human or if it's just somebody in the marketing department. But when you put up an ad and people leave comments, this is your chance to really engage with the people on your page. So if they're asking you questions, you definitely should make sure that even if it's not you or somebody on your team, is actually responding to the ads. Again, we're talking about the experience and how when you people ask questions and you don't respond, then they feel like, well, then what was the point of you making an ad? You're not really encouraging them to want to click the link, to want to buy the product. So if it's too many questions like that, so you want to be mindful that when you do the ads, if people are commenting, it's important that you respond. That's part of that customer experience. Um, the other thing is that the ads are really budget friendly. So of all the advertising between TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, social media ads are the least expensive of all of them. And you can like they have it has changed over the at least the last 2 to 3 years for sure. I know when I first started, when I got back to the US, um, in 2013, 2014, social media ads wasn't, I mean, they were there, but it wasn't all that it is now. Like there's so many different things that you can do with ads now. And you can spend between 5 to 10 to 20 bucks and get something and get, whatever your goal is and get that accomplished, whether it's even with events, it's with a product, it's with a service, but it's about having the right strategy and know that it's more of a long-term strategy. But from a budget perspective, ads is one of the best ways that you really can increase and build your brand online and give people, insight in your potential target audience, insight into who you are. So we have talked, or I have talked, about a number of things. So we're gonna do a quick recap, and then we'll get to some questions and comments in the end. So of the 6 strategies and the 6 things that you can do, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so before we get here, so one of the things that you can definitely do, as far as the 6 things that we talked about, as far as your mission and vision statement, if you don't have one, you really want to sit down and write one. It's important that you have it. You want to put it on your website, put it on your Facebook. I post ours here every now and then. I'll just post it up on there. So you definitely want to have that. Other thing, number 2, you want to make sure that you are finding a way to engage your clients in your business. So making sure that you're contacting them, whether it's text, email, phone calls, however. Um, Also, the number 3 is having and creating a niche. So figuring out your lane and where you want to be in your space and differentiating yourself from everyone else in your industry. Also, creating online before we not creating online ads, that was number 6. So I didn't get sidetracked. I had a little slide up there to make. I thought I put the slide in there to help me remember them all. But a blog or podcast, start either one. If that's something that you aspire to do, it don't have to be both. And it's something that you also want to make a plan to do. You don't necessarily have to just jump right into it. But they are effective when they're done the right way. And then building social media ads. So all of these things help you. And like I said at the beginning, this is something that you don't necessarily want to just jump in and do them all at one time. You really want to pick one, focus on it, and get it going. So one of the things that I do with my clients, I say we go through a lot of different strategies um, depending on what their business, what their target and their goals are. But I figured out the best way, as I've been thinking about this, one of the best ways that I really want to be able to, because I have a lot of content, I have a lot of ideas that I like to share with people. And so one of the things that I created is our Brand Your Vision membership. And being a part of this membership, you get access to pretty much like all the content that I create. And I actually create specific content just for our members based on specific topics. One of the things that you get by joining our membership, discounts on products and services that we offer, access to our private Facebook group where actually I go live in the group, and the whole purpose of it is just to answer your questions, to engage in dialogue and just talk about, because sometimes it's just really you really want to talk to people who understand. So sometimes I'm just in the group, be in the group, and just for us to have a conversation, to be able to talk with each other. And you can ask me questions about things that you have going on in your business and your brand. Also, we do a business highlight. Um, that business highlight is a little bit on a larger scale for people that's in our that's in the membership, as well as like I love a good checklist. I think I become, especially during the pandemic, I've become the checklist queen. So I make a lot of little checklists and worksheets. And so being a part of our Brand Your Vision membership, you have access to the free worksheets. And actually I create some, there's some free worksheets on our website now at bmichelle.com. But as a membership, you'll get like different ones created specifically for the membership group and with different topics on there. So love a good worksheet and guides and checklists. So I create them often. And then priority access to any workshops that I do. And even if you don't live in the area, a lot of our workshops are virtual, to where you can attend via Zoom. And so I'm going to be doing more Zoom stuff. But so the membership, you can join our membership is $19.99 a month. You can join it at bmichelle.com. Yeah, so there was our wrap up list. So you can join it at bmichelle.com. If you join the membership today, you get our free goal minded planner. This is a planner. So I like to divide my year into quarters. I function a lot better in segments and phases. So the goal minded planner is basically a planner is broken down into quarters, so you can better digest what's happening in your business and your goals. So you'll get our free planner if you join our membership tonight. You also get the 6 things workbook. So there's a workbook that goes with all of the things that I talked about on the webinar tonight. Also, you get access to our brand talk session, which is basically a group coaching session for everyone that joined tonight as well. So those are some of the extra bonuses for joining our Brand Your Vision membership, which you can go over to bmichelle.com, and the website is there on the screen. And you can click the membership there to join. So lots of really cool perks in the membership. And I'm going to be adding stuff and just different content, because every day I feel like as I work with different clients, there's stuff that happens. And even I'll just share this with you guys. So there was a lady that was referred to me. She lives in Minnesota, but she's friends with someone here that I know. So she referred her to me. And so we're having a conversation just about her business. Like, she really wants to take her business serious. She's, been putting in, effort, but she wants to really do better with her business. But she feels like there's no one in Minnesota, in her area, like the business owners there aren't very helpful. They're not very encouraging, because she was like, when I came to Texas, everybody was just telling me, definitely you should do it, and very encouraging and supportive. And she's like, I don't really have that here. And so she's really struggling with her business, and just even certain things that we consider to be normal as business owners is a struggle. So this is why I always like to share and just everyday things, because you never know like how something that's like just everyday. So I just kind of share with her about some of the things that, the groups, some of the Facebook groups and places, Facebook groups she should join, how to, networking, looking for networking opportunities in her city. If there's, sometimes you don't necessarily you don't have those relationships or have people in your space to tell you that, it's like, it seems like the light bulb just go off when somebody say it, which sometimes you think may be normal. So these are some of the things like really important, that stuff that I come across on a daily, that I like to send out reminders and just share with people about making sure that they're, staying grounded and make sure they're doing the things doing the things they need to do to really build a foundation of their brand. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And until you either find out, somebody tell you, then you navigate trying to figure it out or think you're doing the best you can until it happens. So with the membership is one of the things I really want to focus on, and making sure that we're providing value and, sharing these stories, and hopefully they're encouraging to you guys, and keep you motivated, in the group. So bmichelle.com is the website. You can join tonight and get, all of the extra bonuses for free, on there: the Goal Minded Planner, the workbook, and, access to the group coaching session. So I hope you guys really, got some good information and got some tips and strategies out of this. So I'll take a few moments for any, questions or comments that you might have. You can put them, in the chat, and I can see them, I can see the comments that you may have. Somebody said join tonight and you get a free gift. We like free. Yes. Someone said this is what I want to learn more about. Aisha, what exactly did you want to learn more about? This was a good way to stay top of mind. Okay. So yeah, so this is the time if you have any questions or comments about anything that was in the webinar, or even if it's a little bit off topic, it's okay. But definitely want to say thank you guys for joining and attending my first webinar. Creating ads. Okay. Do you have a specific question about creating ads? So I'll see. I know Aisha was really looking forward to this webinar. So I hope, Aisha, that it lived up to everything that you hoped it would be. For sure. Sending a shout out. Good job. Thank you. Okay, she said, I know nothing from A to Z. Okay, so now I'm not an ads expert. So what I really honestly suggest, Aisha, I will send you a couple referrals for people who do ads. Because it's more than just the whole boosting the post. You really, there's a whole situation happening on the back end. On your Facebook pages, there's algorithms, there's timing. You have to make sure you can, like your text has to be right. So there's a lot that goes into it, but they are effective if they are done correctly. So I'll shoot you over a couple people that are really good, in that space that you can reach out to. And yes, it certainly did. I am very happy that I was able to attend. Well, thank you, Aisha. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ronell, for the shout out. So yeah, so the ads can be a little tricky. And there are a couple courses out there. I think everything is on YouTube. And here's the thing. For me, I will say this: if you're in a position financially to where you can hire someone to help you, then you should do that. But you also make sure that you take time to, at least know the back end, and kind of have an idea of how it works. So that way, when you go to work with somebody, it's not a situation where they can just tell you anything. You at least have some general basic knowledge, of how ads work or whatever it is that you're looking for. And that way, you can then say, hey, okay, I want to do this or I want to do that. And hopefully you also find somebody that's willing to teach you and show you, as well. She said, I tried YouTube, but I was still a bit lost. Yeah, the whole ads thing can be definitely, the Facebook ads and social media ads can be a lot. So you definitely want to let the expert stay in your lane. I should. You might want to definitely let the experts handle it, but at least know the basic information. All right. All right. Any more questions or comments before we wrap it up? I'll give it a few minutes if you guys want to put anything in the chat. But thank you guys again for joining and attending my first webinar on 6 things you can do to build your brand. The process changed with the introduction with the Business Center. Can you elaborate on that? The process changed with the introduction with the Business Center. Got it, Captain. Okay. Yeah, I need just a little bit more clarity. Um, um, all right. So if no more questions, we will wrap this up. And again, if you guys definitely want to join the membership, you can go to bmichelle.com and it's right there on the site. And we will see you guys in the Facebook group once you join. And you'll get the link to the Facebook group to join. So thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar.